Watkins. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I wanted to talk a little bit about this guy named Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock was thrust into the national spotlight mainly because he's running for Senate and he's the Democratic candidate, and the balance of the country and the Senate lies in the state of Georgia. Right now, Georgia is in the middle of a heated race where the Democrats and Republicans are going at it. And you guys know I don't get into the Democrat-Republican stuff very much, but when I see something that's interesting, I'll talk about it. So Raphael Warnock, a guy I knew nothing about. I never knew the guy. I don't know him personally. I never met him. And I don't really care about somebody, I don't care about black people running for office because Powernomics kind of shows us historically that black people being elected to office has never done anything for the black community. Just so you know, just go look at the data. I challenge anybody to show me any proof that black people have gained economically, especially economically, by putting black people into office. So that's why I don't care. It's not because I'm being mean. It's just because I like to do things that actually work. I don't like to get into Negroology where we sit in the same space and move our legs and stomp our feet and scream and holler and yell and think that that's actually making progress. That ain't the same as progress. So Raphael Warnock is on my mind right now, and I'm not going to talk about him long, but I had to bring this up. So Raphael Warnock is kind of in the middle of a crazy scandal right before the election, because that's what they do. They drop the bombs right before everybody votes, because they like to play those games. The Republicans and the Democrats do this. They basically came to the public with this video of Raphael talking to the cops after his wife says that he ran over her foot, that they got into an argument. He was trying to drive away with the kids. He ran over her foot. She started screaming. He says, "I didn't run over her foot. I thought she was in the clear." And she comes in and says, "Well, he's an actor, and I've been covering up for his behavior for too long, and it's just time for people to know what kind of person he really is." And so this was really interesting. So he was never charged. He never went to jail. They never arrested him. None of that stuff. But obviously, this has serious implications because you have a scenario of a black man being accused of being mean to a woman, not just a black woman, but just a woman. She's a black woman, but just women in general. Why is this important? Well, the reason this is important, the reason I'm talking about it, is because this is an interesting dilemma that the Democratic Party puts itself into. The Democratic Party, Joe Biden in particular, began to sort of go along with these nonsensical narratives in support of feminism, trying to make friends with the Me Too movement, which unfortunately got a little bit radical and out of control, where they started using phrases like "believe all women." Give me a yes or no if you remember when the Me Too movement was saying "believe all women, believe all women, believe all women." Anybody remember that? And the problem with that is that you have some women who know how to lie. Give me a yes or no if you agree with me that women can lie just like men. So when you say "believe all women," that's about the dumbest statement that a person could ever make, because that makes no sense. That's like saying "believe all people who wear gray pants," right? But if you wear gray pants, then you must be telling the truth. You cannot be lying if you're wearing. Well, he had on gray pants, Your Honor, so that means he must be telling the truth. I can't make myself that stupid. I can't. I'm not capable of being dumb enough to say something like "believe all women," because a lot of black men have been falsely accused throughout the years. How about believe evidence? How about believe facts? How about believe proof? Why don't we do that? Search for the truth, as opposed to saying that because you have a vagina, that means that you're not capable of telling a lie. And I think that's kind of crazy. So here's the deal. Here's where I'm going at with this Raphael Warnock thing. Raphael Warnock is a guy, again, I honestly, just tell y'all the truth. I don't know if it's hurt your feelings or not. I got friends in Atlanta, but I don't care if he wins. I just don't. I don't really. Again, you can't show me any evidence that black people do better because they've got Democratic administrations or Republican administrations. I can show you 1,000 charts right now that with the Powernomics masterclass I've been doing with Dr. Claude Anderson for the last 6 weeks, those charts show that over the last 50 years, black income and wealth has always been at the bottom. It has never risen up. It has always been at the bottom. Under Democratic administrations, it's at the bottom. Republican administrations is at the bottom. So all this stuff getting caught up in Democrat, Republican, that's like trying to get me to argue over whether or not I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs, which they're not, by the way. The Steelers are not. They're strong. They have a great record, but they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. I love Mike Tomlin, but I don't think it's going to happen. But the point of the matter is to say that you have to focus on the things that actually matter, the things that actually work. And the reason I'm talking about Raphael Warnock today is because the Democratic Party is in a dilemma. They're in a weird conundrum right now because they've got it's a weird party in the sense that you've got this whole thing where they're like, okay, because we want to cater to feminist agendas, we're going to just believe all women and agree with whatever crazy thing comes out of that movement, which don't get me wrong, there's a legitimate claim for the rights of women in America because women have not been treated well. But when you get to the point where people start saying stupid things, you start putting yourself in this weird trap. The trap also showed itself with Joe Biden. If you recall, during the election, Joe Biden literally had Stanton, Charlie, I cannot speak to you for a minute, so stop saying that in the chat. If you keep repeating yourself, brother, I'm gonna have to bounce you out of here. So Joe Biden literally, if you recall, I don't know if you give me a yes or no if you know this. Joe Biden literally was being accused of sexual assault during the election. There was a lady running around screaming the entire time, all throughout the entire election. Joe Biden assaulted me. Joe Biden assaulted me. Joe Biden assaulted me. And so what happens is when you have been carrying this stupid slogan, believe all women, then you look crazy. You look like a hypocrite because now you're like, oh, she's lying and she's going to mess up the election. So we're going to act like she doesn't exist. We're literally going to look right past her, kind of like the way we do black people, kind of the way we do reparations. I mean, again, it's really ironic, right? That suddenly these people that are so eager to make sure that you're nice and safe to get the vaccine first, they're like, here, black people, let us inject you with this unknown substance first. Y'all go first, right? Because we love you. We love y'all. That's why we want y'all to go first. But yet these same people are the ones who won't even talk about reparations. If you love me, then you'll listen to me. If you don't listen to me, then that means you can't love me. How can you love me and you don't respect me? That don't even make no damn sense. So the point of the matter is to say that a lot of this is nonsense, and I personally am affected by it because as a black man, I see a lot of false accusations happen. I see a lot of black men get their reputations ruined because somebody just decided they want to go tell a story and tell a lie, right? I as a black man, I've seen a lot of brothers get assaulted by rumors and innuendo on things that weren't true. For example, I'll give you an example. This past, or about maybe 9 months ago, 10 months ago, right before COVID, I was in Ghana, and there was a guy there by the name of Jamal Bryant. I was around Jamal. I talked to Jamal a lot, and Jamal's a cool dude. He's a smart guy. Now, I know nothing about Jamal's personal life, but I do know that I know women. Alicia has a lot of little female friends that watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And give me a yes or no if you've seen this. They have been dragging Jamal pretty bad on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, does he deserve to be dragged? I don't know. I don't know nothing about this man's personal life. I don't know nothing about his women. I don't even ask. We didn't even bring it up. I didn't see anything in Africa, and if I did, I wouldn't say anything. But I don't know anything about that. But what I didn't like was the idea of people just sort of running away with a narrative without ever listening to what he had to say, without even trying to hear his side of the story. So what I liked about Jamal is Jamal came back and gave his side of the story. Now, does it clean up everything and make everything perfect? No, it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But here's the thing. If you watch a show like Real Housewives, the people that were attacking Jamal the most are the same women who basically have sold their vaginas for a Gucci bag, right? The reason that they were sleeping with these men, some of these men are gay and cheating and dirt bags, but you're sleeping with these men because you're trying to get paid, right? So whatever Jamal does is what he does, but you're not exactly in a position to pretend like you have this perfect existence and that you're making all these perfectly wonderful sexual choices. So I think that, generally speaking, we got to be real careful when people are talking about black men because there are times where people will try to make black men look worse than everybody else. And so does it sound like I'm defending Raphael Warnock? I don't know enough about Raphael to defend him. I don't know Raphael Warnock enough to know that he is that he's a guy that is sturdy and solid and reliable and decent. I know nothing about him. I know he's running for Senate as a Democrat. I know that he is a guy that at the very least, if you're going to destroy his reputation, I would hope that people would kind of have some evidence, maybe some proof. Maybe instead of having his wife go on TV and cry and say, oh, he's a mean person, he was mean to me, how about you just look for some evidence to show that he really did some of the things that he's being accused of doing? I think that would be a more fair and adequate way to do things. Also, I would tell you, it's interesting. His wife is a smart lady. She went to Oxford and she was a doctoral student. So I think she's a few years younger than him. She was at Spelman in 2007, which says that, and I think he's 52 years old or 51 or something like that. So, so there's probably a big age gap. I think it's probably about a 20-year age gap, which is fine. That's their life. I don't care. But one of the things I wonder about is sort of like what the nature of that whole situation was, because I know they got married 4 years ago. They got divorced this year. So it's about a 4-year marriage, and it just seems interesting to just see her kind of saying, like, I've been hiding his behavior for a long time. And honestly, there was this crazy lady who was running around chasing him around, accusing him of being gay for a really long time. And now do I know what's going on? I have no idea. But I do think that I would be interesting to see how that plays out. Let me just say that I'm not going to say too much because I'm not going to throw anything in that category of what happened with the guy down in Florida. You know what I'm talking about, the guy that got caught in the hotel room with the chaos. But I suspect, I can't help but wonder if there's sort of an undercurrent in the Democratic Party, and you can read between the lines and know what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that he's part of this or not, but I really thought about that, and I really wonder if she is going to have like a deeper bombshell to throw out there. Because I do think that there are people that have lives that are completely different from what they portray to the public. And is he in that category? I have no idea. I also believe that whatever it is that you think, it should be relevant to whether or not he can actually do the job. Like, so for example, Andrew Gilliam. I think Andrew Gilliam is a great politician, a very smart guy. He just happened to be a guy who was living a life that wasn't real. And I personally think he should have lived his real life, or whatever. And so anyway, with this, I'm really curious to see how this plays out, because I really wouldn't be surprised if at some point his wife comes back with more bombshells to basically come and get him in a really nasty way. And so that's the part that I'm curious about. Do I think it's fair? No, I don't think it's fair. But then again, that's life. And also what it really says too is that, for the brothers out here, when you choose who you want to have a relationship with, whatever woman that you bring into your space, you need to understand what kind of person you're dealing with, like how she's going to operate if things don't go right. There's a difference between, and it's the same thing true for the ladies too. It's not just the men, but if you are a public person, honestly, loose lips sink ships, right? And I think picking a partner that kind of knows how to at least be decent in your parting of ways is appropriate. Now, I'm not going to say this lady's not being decent. Maybe he really is this abusive, horrible bastard, behind closed doors. But I think that if you have no evidence of that and it's only your opinion, then I think that really speaks to hard feelings. That speaks to the fact that she's pissed off about something. Maybe she wants more money than divorce. Maybe she's just pissed off because she thinks he's a horrible person or whatever. But the fact that she's going out and kind of saying he's a terrible guy, you have no idea what kind of terrible man he is, that's a problem, not just because I think it's patently unfair to do that. Anybody can do that. Like, and most of you probably have, give me a yes or no if you have friends who, or if you have former friends who would probably talk about you like a dog to other people if they got a chance, right? But everybody's got people that they used to be cool with who are not cool with them, who would talk about them like a dog. And I've experienced that firsthand. I've experienced it where people that I helped quite a bit who got mad because I wasn't helping them anymore, went online and did videos with 100,000 views to say Dr. Boyce is a bastard. He's a son of a blah, 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 whatever. Right. And I'm like, well, I was saving you not too long ago and you got a lot of money out of me. So you're just mad because I cut you off and I told you to leave. Now you're going and you're taking advantage of the fact that anybody who accuses a black man of anything is going to be believed. And so what I just encourage you to do, I'm bringing this up because I feel as a black man, it's important to at least heighten the sensitivity to that so that your spidey senses will kick off. If somebody's out here saying, oh, he's a bad person, he's a terrible person, boo-hoo, he was mean to me, I think it's important to say, okay, well, can you provide some evidence of this, right? Let's hear his side of the story. What is he saying about this? Because most men I know don't do that to women. They don't go publicly and talk bad about a woman and say, oh, she was mean, she abused me, because nobody's going to listen. People will laugh at you, right? But if you're a woman, it's like you've got this secret weapon called victimhood, where you can go out and basically say, boo-hoo, look, I'm crying. That obviously means I'm telling the truth. And if you question me, that means you're being mean to a woman, and nobody wants to be mean to a woman, and he's a bad person, right? And really, in some cases, you have a predator who's pretending to be a victim. Predators make the best victims, right? And so that's the one thing I'm noting. So with this lady, I have no idea who the victim is and who the predator is. All I really see with Raphael Warnock, honestly, is a guy who's running for Senate, who appears to be qualified for the job. If you're a Democrat, you vote for him. If you're a Republican, vote for Kelly Loeffler. I don't care. But he appears to be qualified for the job. He seems like a smart dude. He ain't messing with nobody. He's not out trying to ruin his wife's reputation. So when the wife brings her personal beef with the husband out into the public, that to me speaks of vindictiveness. That speaks of, of you somehow feeling like, okay, I'm going to hurt him by undermining anything he's trying to do. That's no different from ladies. Like if you leave your husband, that's no different from him coming to your job and saying she's a slut and let me show you a sex tape and let me tell you what she did. She slept with so-and-so and she did this and she did that, right? That's tacky. That's ridiculous, right? So if it's tacky and ridiculous for a man to do that to a woman, then it's also tacky and ridiculous for a woman to do that to a man. So that's my 2 cents on it. So I would just generally say also, those of you who got something to lose, who are really trying to do something special with your life, pick people that know how to handle disappointments and just move on with their lives, right? So that means, look, if we're cool and we're getting along and we're getting it on and doing whatever, that's between me and you. Right. For example, you all will never know anything about any woman that I've ever slept with because I don't do that. I'm not going to. It doesn't matter. I've been disappointed. I've had my feelings hurt. I've had people lie to me. I've had terrible things happen, but you will never see me go on video and say she's a terrible person because she slept with me and then she never called me again and she's a bad person and she's a slut and let me tell you what she did in the bedroom. Like that's tacky. Like, and most real men don't do that, and real women don't do that either. So fellas, when you find you a woman, find you a real woman. As long as you ain't beating her, doing nothing illegal, there's something crazy where she needs to go to the cops. If you're a decent man, find you a decent woman, and a decent woman is a woman who doesn't kiss and tell, who moves on with her life if things don't work out, and will keep it to herself. Like that's I think that's kind of a standard and a code of conduct. This whole idea of I'm going to go publicly and blame a black man and call a black man a predator, even with no evidence, and everyone's going to believe me because it's a black man, and that allows me to get my revenge on a black man that hurt my feelings. That's childish, and it's also very racist. It's racist because you're taking advantage of the fact that the whole world will believe you if you say a black man did it. That's exactly what white people do. White people run around, they say they do terrible shit to each other, then they say a black man did it, and everybody's like, oh, of course a black man did it because that's what black men do, right? No, stop that. Stop that. So that's my 2 cents. And I would say, fellas, this is one little trick. I'll tell you a little secret. There was one lady I thought about dating one time. I was real close. I was really kind of checking her out, and I try to be strategic and thoughtful about who I engage with. And so I kind of observed her for one day. She did something that totally turned me off. She blasted her ex. She went online and blasted her ex and said he was a bad person. He did this and he did that. I said, I'll never date that woman, because why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? Like, seriously, I'm just asking you. Give me a yes or no if you get what I'm saying. Why would you? Why do I need to know that what you think about your ex? Like, why does the whole world need to know that? What emotional baggage are you unleashing onto the world when you're out here doing that? And I'm gonna tell you this too. People that behave that way, if you ever catch yourself doing that to somebody, just know you're telling on yourself. Smart people will see that. The way you can tell if a person's going to be loyal to you is whether they're loyal to other people. Right. And what happens is all disloyal people, no disloyal person ever says that they're disloyal. They always say, I'm loyal, except for when you do blank. Right. Loyal people are loyal people are loyal people. Loyal people are loyal because they're loyal. That means if I make a pact and I say, like I'll tell you, for example, Alicia, there's nothing that she could ever do to me that would have me getting on the internet and saying, let me tell y'all what she did. Like, I'm a victim, y'all. She hurt my feelings, y'all. And she was so mean to me, y'all. You'll never hear that conversation. That will never happen. There's nothing she could do to me unless she tried to kill me. And even then I wouldn't tell you. You'd have to find out because I was dead. Right? Seriously. Like that's it. So I'm just saying that in general, if you pick a partner, pay attention to how they talk about their ex. If they're horribly nasty and negative and dysfunctional toward their ex, there's a good chance they're going to be equally dysfunctional toward you. So, like, ladies, if you meet a man who literally is like, yeah, I want to slap that bitch or whatever, like, that's an abusive man. It doesn't matter if he's like saying, oh, well, it's not her, it's not you, baby, it's just her. No, he's an abuser because in his mind, he doesn't slap women unless they give him a reason to slap women. A man who doesn't slap women doesn't slap women. He just doesn't do that because that's not the kind of man he is, right? So I'm really telling you that a way you can tell a lot about a person is how they talk about their ex. This is what's coming to my mind. You guys know how I am. If I see something like this, I'll talk about it. If I think it relates to life, and relationships are important because relationships relate to your ability to build wealth and build empires. You can't build empires if you have bad relationships. Because look, this guy Raphael Warnock, if he loses the election, it could be because he chose the wrong wife. right? His wife could have been like, you know what, I'm pissed off at you, but because I'm mature, I'm going to go through this process. You better write me a good check when we do the divorce. And you know what? I'll sit next to you and I'll smile and I'll say, you're a wonderful guy and you will be a great senator. That's it. That's how grown up people handle shit like that. They don't get in this whole like, well, he's really mean. And seriously, it's corny. If you're trying to do something big, don't get next to people like that. Get next to somebody who has maturity. Maturity doesn't mean that you're just decent when things work out. Maturity is most measured by how you handle things when they don't work out. Right? Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes or no if you get what I'm saying. Okay. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'm about to go. Do I want Warnock to win? I told you I don't care. I don't get into Democrat, Republican because I don't think it makes a difference for the black community. Black people are not going to benefit because of Democrats in office or Republicans in office. The data shows this. This is not me talking. This is the data talking. This is statistical evidence showing this. But you know what? He seems like a smart brother. If he wins, then great. Good. If you like him, then I like him too. Good for you. All right. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. And my Twitter is right there. Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1. And also I'm on that app, that new app Clubhouse. So you can feel free to follow me on Clubhouse if you want. And there's my Instagram also. I think I'm under Dr. Boyce Watkins or under Boyce Watkins or something on Clubhouse. I'll try. All y'all keep telling me to do Clubhouse. So maybe I'll do a little conversation on Clubhouse. So feel free to connect with me there too. I'm out. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Peace.